Wanted to do a quick video on something that some people might think it's a bit crazy, but if you have observed this plant very closely, you will agree with what I'm about to say. This is perpetual spinach of leaf beet. It's a type of beet actually of chard that grows with very small narrow stalks and tiny leaves that grow kind of slowly, especially in colder weather. So you can cut it like a spinach and sell it as perpetual spinach. This is a fantastic plant. The plants you're seeing here, they haven't been cut. They were planted in the ground a month ago. And these ones that you see have just been cut for today's harvest. They were cut for the 7th time today. So imagine how much biomass they've created. In this case, they've created food and in a way money, but this could have been just biomass, and it could have been left on the ground as a mulch, or it could have been put in the compost to produce compost as a green ingredient. And so I think this type of crop in our climates, temperate and to some extent even Mediterranean ones in the colder season, is a fantastic companion to trees and perennial crops. It will act as a beautiful weed suppressant because it makes a mat. A crop, obviously, you can harvest it, but also every time you cut it, it is releasing a lot of goodness through its roots. The exudates are going to feed the microbial network in the soil and stimulate the neighboring plants, in this case the trees. The important thing is to never let it go to flower. You keep it in a vegetative, juvenile, vigorous stage, and you keep cutting it whenever you need it, either for food, for stimulation, for mulch, for biomass, for compost. And it's a fantastic crop in that sense. So I do encourage you, if you have agroforestry rows or if you've got a perennial garden, to introduce this. It will perennialize to some extent. When it starts to flower, you can pull up the root and you will see how deep the root is and how much biomass it will add when it eventually dies. But otherwise, you can treat it as a comfrey. It will perennialize and come back and back and back for multiple years, and that's why it's called perpetual spinach.